Alright guys, welcome back again to this segment. So as usual, back with some latest stories making the rounds right now as they concern our players and the team. So there hasn't been a lot going on today. Obviously, it's a little bit boring, but we still have some actions here and there across different leagues and across different club sides where we saw some Super Eagles players make appearances for their clubs. A couple of them even scored a goal. Continuing from the good performances that we saw yesterday. And also, it's very good to see Adal Lukman make his return to the pitch to represent Atlanta Football Club for the first time in several months. He didn't play for long. He was just introduced in the 9 minutes of the match. Only had to play 3 minutes of the match. But for me, I think this is just a way that the club and the owners are trying to make a statement to the world that hey, we don't have any issue anymore with Ademola Lukman. We have settled, and you guys can see now that he's made appearance with the club. So no issue anymore, and he's going to be available for future games. Especially in the Champions League where they got thrashed 4 goals to 0 by PSG. So hopefully next 2 weeks they want to use Ademola Lukman's experience and try to get the results in the Champions League. But aside from that, guys, we saw a couple of guys score as well. Silvidesas scored his second goal in 2 starts for Panathinaikos. He scored again today against Olympiacos. That match ended 1-1 final score, but it's obviously good to see Silvidesas scoring back to back for his new club. Elsewhere, we saw Kelechi Iheanacho continuing his form with his Celtic Football Club as they cruise to a 4-0 victory over Partick Thistle. Iheanacho didn't score today, but he provided a very beautiful assist to help his team get that 4-0 victory. So this is the second goal contribution for the 28-year-old. Recall he scored in the previous game. Now he has created an assist. So in 2 matches, he has a goal and assist. And obviously, this is very good for his form and his ambition of returning back into the Super Eagles squad. If he continues like this, then obviously there's a possibility that he might get called up, in the future. And then we talk about Gift Urban. Of course, he also, performed really well. I think that game was late yesterday, helping his new club, Hellas Verona, to a 1-1 draw against Juventus. A very heated match, but Gift Urban was the man who stepped up to grab that one goal that shared the spoils for his club, between his club and Juventus. He ended up winning the Man of the Match award for that match, which is fantastic to see. And he continues, his quest to get caught up into Coach Eric Shell's list. So see how that turns out. And then we'll talk about, Paul Onuachu. Of course, I probably didn't talk about him, but he also scored a goal yesterday. And the man that assisted his goal was no other than Andre Onana. Surprisingly, loaded the ball straight to Onuachu, and then Onuachu pounced on it and then scored. And Onana is having a bit of fresh air in this new club, Trabzonspor. I remember, Manchester United fans obviously blaming Onana every time they don't get the result for several months now. Since he joined the club, basically, it felt like everyone was saying Onana was the issue. So it's good to see that the man has gone into this Trabzonspor and is starting to pick his form back again, just like we saw him deliver at Inter Milan before he joined Man United. And again, we talk about Alex Iwobi. We can't forget to talk about him. It's like I talked about in the previous video, but obviously he was one of the star men over this weekend's performances. Scored a goal, created an assist in Fulham's 3-1 victory over Brentford City. He also walked away with the Man of the Match award, which is fantastic to see, and it's also very beautiful to see how his parents, his mom and dad, showed how proud they were of him and his performance by taking a picture with his Man of the Match award for that yesterday night's game. So lots of performances. Chiamaka Nnadozie also uh, performed really well today, helping her Brighton and Hove Albion get a 4-1 comfortable victory over West Ham women. She made some very important saves, up to 5 saves in this game, and this is her 14 saves in only 3 matches since she joined Brighton and Hove Albion. So this just shows you the quality of this lady, and I'm sure right now that she's in England, she's going to be in line to, to win the best goalkeeper award this season. If she keeps up this great performances. Then we'll talk about Ibrahim Olawoyin, who plays for Seco Rezospor. He also scored a goal today. Sadly enough, his goal could have been the winner for the match, but they considered another. They considered, I think a late equalizer uh, from Kozale Sport. So he ended 1-1. But Olawoyin was really excellent in that match, performing really well at the top of his game, and such a shame to see that they had to share the spoils. And then we'll talk about the likes of Okoro. West Okoro also scored again, continuing her good form. Of course, the previous game she uh, scored a goal. I think she created 2 assists and scored 2 goals. I've forgotten the count, but she continues her goal scoring form today as Toronto AFC won their game against Halifax Tides FC. So those are some of the important updates to know. And then quickly, we're just going to go straight into what's happening right now with the under 20 Flying Eagles. Of course, you guys know that they are now in Chile preparing for the World Cup under 20 FIFA competition. And it's starting on the 29th, which is on Monday. So now that they are already there, they've been, training and playing some friendlies. They actually played one friendly yesterday against the host nation, Chile. And then it ended 1-1. We were winning the game until Chile equalized that one. And then, the goals were scored by Ahmed Akinyele for Nigeria in the 18th minute. And then the Chilean player who goes by the name Felipe Founders equalized in the 36th minute. But the guys still have another friendly again slated on Tuesday against Australia. So after that one, they will now, rest and try to prepare for their opening leg, which comes against Norway on the 29th of September, which is on Monday. And then we had a couple of guys who were on the losing side, this weekend. Boniface and Felix Agu were some of the guys whose team didn't have, the best of games. They had a bad day at the office. Of course, Werder Bremen lost their game yesterday against Freiburg, 3-0. It was an emphatic loss on the night, but the coach of the Werder Bremen side has come out to blame his players categorically, Boniface and his teammates, saying that them refusing to stick to the plan, which part of it was obviously for them to maintain their positions and not play out of it, was one of the reasons why they lost that game. This is what the coach of the side is saying. His name is Horst Stefan. So he categorically called out Boniface, but then he said, his teammate also found guilty of that. He said Boniface was always leaving his position and, coming deep, and basically, he accused Boniface of being all over the place and refusing to play in the position that he told him to play. And that was the reason why they didn't have their day yesterday. And that's why I said I felt Boniface was too everywhere. It's fine for him to be more central. It wasn't the way I wanted it. It wasn't just him, but a lot of players who weren't staying in their own spaces. We have to be positionally consistent so that we can overload the attack every now and then. That's an issue I'll address. So that is what the coach has said. So at the end of the day, I think it's always better to follow the coach's instruction than following, what your instincts are. It's good to follow your instinct, but I mean the coach's instruction has to be like the primary thing, because obviously, because he's the boss, he's the one that's calling the shots, he's the one that's dishing out the plans and tactics, the strategies for the game. But of course, they're going to hope to bounce back next week. That's about it for this video. We're still waiting for the South Africa FIFA case. Today's 21. We've not seen any news yet, but at the end of the day, FIFA still have the jurisdiction or the right to decide when to respond to the query and then let the public know about it. That's the video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.